Welcome to Sew with Christine. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make this gorgeous dress. So if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do that right now. Like this video and do share to your friends and families. To get updates on more amazing tutorials, kindly turn your notification bell on. I've drafted the basic bodies for this dress. This is the front part. I'm just going to label this front. And these are the darts lines. This is the bust darts, and I have the waist darts here. This is the center front, so I'm just going to write CF here. These are the horizontal lines. I'll go ahead and use my marker to highlight this. This is the chest line, the bust point line, the under bust line, the waistline, and the hip line. Then I have the hemline here. I'm going to mark down the waistband and I'll measure from the waistline downward. I'm going to be using 2.5 inches for the waistband. I'm going to label this WB, which is waistband, then I would use my marker to highlight. Next, I'm going to extend the center front line upward. I'm going to go inward by 2.5 inches away from the center front. But before that, I'm going to measure the length of this line. I want this to be 4 inches. So I've marked 4 inches, then I'm going to just measure 2.5 inches here. I will measure the area where I marked 2.5 inches to ensure where it is marked is actually on the 4 inches point. I'll come to the waistline here and I'll go inward by 2 inches. Then from the 2.5, I'm just going to use a straight line to connect that point to these 2 inches here. Then I will connect the 2.5 inches to meet with the armhole. From this point, I'm just going to draw a straight line downward this way. Next, I would go to this dot line here. Then at the hemline, I will go down on that dot line. I'll go downward by 5 inches. Then from this point, I will use a straight line to connect these 2 points together. Next, I will use a straight line to connect these points to the side of this pattern. So, these lines are what I will be working on. So I'll be introducing a new paper, and on this new paper I will trace out all these lines that I've drawn onto this new paper. These are the lines that I'll be tracing onto the paper beneath this one. I'll trace the dots. I'm going to trace the waistband with this tracing wheel. So do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video. And you do not want to miss out on my tutorials, so turn your notification bell on so whenever I post new videos you will get updated. After tracing, I will just go ahead and draw all the areas that I have traced. I'm done tracing this. Next, I'm going to draw a straight line that will connect the waist dart to the tip of the other dart. Then at the base, I'm just going to do the same. Thereafter, I will cut out the pattern. So working on the upper parts, I want to transfer these darts. So I'm going to open up the bust dart area. After opening up this bust dart area, I would open the main dart, which is the waist dart. I'm going to open this up. I'll open the second one, like all of the darts, I will open all of the darts. I'm done opening up the darts. Next, I will cut this line open. That is where I'll be transferring these darts to. So this is how I'm going to close up the darts, leaving this other side open. So this part is going to be what I'll be using for the pleats. While this other side, I'm going to close it up this way. So I'm done closing this part up. Next, I want to trim this base. So I'm going to have a straight line here. So I'm just going to bring the edge of this, connect them together to be sure of where I'm going to cut off. Then I'm going to redraw this line. After redrawing, I will highlight the areas, then cut out this pattern. I'll go to the base and open up this line. Then I'll open up the dots line as well so I can transfer the dots to this line. After that, I will glue the dots area down. Then these other dots here, I'm going to measure this and mark what I got at the edge of this paper. Then I'm just going to roll this and cut it off. So with that, I do not have any dots on this pattern again. This is cancelled out. Now this is what we have here for the up and the lower part, and here is the band. I also closed the dots area for the band. I'm just trying to cross check what I have done. Next, I'm going to bring in a different paper. I'll place this on it and glue it. So I've glued both of them onto this new paper. So I'm just going to cut this off. So I will be using this paper to form my pleats. Next, I will fold this over the down one. I'll fold this pink paper inward. Then I will use my scissors to cut this excess off. After cutting, this is what it looks like. I will do the same thing for the upper area. I'm going to fold these pleats inward. After folding, I'm going to cut off the excess. These now have pleats added to both of them. So this is how I'm going to cut these onto my fabric. You see what they look like. So this is for the outer design. Next is to cut the main pattern. So I'm going to bring back the first paper. So I'm just trying to lay this over it so you can see what it will look like when it's placed over the main, pattern. I'll go ahead and separate these, but before that I would highlight these areas so they will be very visible. I'll go ahead and cut off the band area and the lower part because I won't be needing this lower part now. I will be working on the upper area for now. Now for the waistband, I'm going to close up the dots lines on the waistband. Now that the band is ready, I will fold the front pattern in two so it will be easy for me to work on. I'll be making use of 2.5 inches for the underbust dot, so I will divide that by 2 and mark. I will do the same thing at the waist area. For a smaller bust, you can reduce the size of this 2.5 inches. And I'll use my curve ruler to connect this point up to the bust point. Then use a straight ruler to connect this to the waistline. Then I'm going to blend out the edges. Thereafter, I will measure what I have from the underbust to the bust point. I have 4 inches, but I want to add about half inch to it. So for my underbust, I will just measure 8.5 inches. So if you watched to this point and you have not subscribed nor liked this video, please I would like you to do so now. Subscribe to this channel and like this video, and do not forget to share. So from the bust point, I will measure just to ensure this is 4.5, and you can see beneath I have 4 inches. Altogether gives 8.5 inches. Next, I'm going to extend this line up to meet with the new chest line. I'm going to mark 0.75 inch on both sides of this line. Then I will use my curve ruler to connect to the bust points. Next, I'm going to measure out the 2.5 inches that I used up for this dart. I'll mark that at the underbust and also at the waist. Then I will draw the line this way. I will open up the bust dart. I'll be transferring this bust dart to this waist dart. So I'm going to close this bust dart up, but before I do that, I'm going to open up the front pattern so I can close individual darts. Now I'm done. I'm going to fold this back, then I'll go ahead and cut out this pattern. I'm going to redraw the armhole, so I'm going to be using this pattern to redraw this. So I'll just go ahead and open my pattern up and place this over the down one. After arranging, I'm just going to mark. I'll come to this side and do the same thing, mark this, close up my pattern and draw this line to meet with this other one. Then I'll go ahead and cut this. Then I'm going to redraw this line here, then cut the side off. Now remember I used 1 inch for the darts when drafting the basic bodies. That is what I'm going to cut off from this area. After cutting this off, I'm going to bring in all the other pieces and arrange them so you see what they look like. This part is going to lay over this, and I'll also bring the upper parts. This is it. It's also going to lay over this. Next is the back piece. I'm going to be drafting the back piece. I have the waist dart all drawn, so I'm just going to use my marker to highlight these lines. So on the chest line here at the center back, I will come down by 0.75 inch and connect to the armhole. Then on this bust span line here, I'm just going to mark 0.25 inch on both sides of the line, then connect this to meet with the dart legs. From the waistline, I will come down by 2.5 inches, that is for the waistband. I will label this WB, then go ahead and cut out my pattern. After cutting, I will close up the darts on the waistband. Now this is what we have here. Next, on the waistline at the back, I will just go up by 0.5 inch. I will rule this and then cut it off. Next, I will cut open this dart line and close it up. I do not want darts on this lower part, so I'm just going to measure what I have here so that I can remove my darts from the side of this pattern. So I'm going to reconnect this and cut it out. Now I will just go ahead and cancel out these darts. I'll do the same thing for the lower part of the front pattern. I'm going to measure out what I use for the dart intake here and mark my value at the side of this paper. I will do the same for this dart here and mark at the side. Then I'll use my curve ruler to reconnect this. After reconnecting, I will go ahead and cut off the excess area. These darts here are no longer needed. Thank you so much for watching.